Boredom.
I say to my children, boredom's a state of mind.
My mother-in-law used to tell me that many years ago, and I used to think...
I always tell my children to go to bed if they're bored. If you're that bored, go to bed.
My son will do that. He'll lollop around and go, I'm bored. Like, you're not bored, you're tired.
Yeah. I used to do that when I was a kid. I was terrible for that.
Boredom and tiredness. This is how this
almost
changed.
Kay, and explain myself while I'm here.
I'm a mindful-aholic.
What do you do to be mindful?
So, for this week, the topic is boredom. Why did I pick boredom?
Because this is the last group, because it's bored.
No,
don't say that.
not at all. I live for Wednesday nights.
That's all right, mate, women.
8:30 on a Wednesday, so I can call into Tesco's on the way home.
Is that how he normally comes in, doesn't he? What's his name, Nick?
Yeah, no, he's obviously bored of Mindfulness Group. Boredom. Well, two things. One, which picks up on what you were talking about earlier, which is this whole the society and the world that we live in at the moment is just frantic. You know, especially with kids. And I know with my two kids, you know, Monday night's football practice. Tuesday night, I don't think we do anything Tuesday night, but Wednesday night is choir. Thursday night is ballet. Friday night is tap and modern, and then Saturday morning's football match. And it's just you're constantly ferrying kids from one place to another, and you don't stop. You don't have time to be bored. I suppose sometimes people think it'd be nice to actually have
I'd like to be bored.
the opportunity to be bored.
Yeah, so I'm really full bound to this.
My dad always used to say, he's never bored. One says, always used to say, Dad's never bored. He'll find something to do, he'll read, or he'll sit there. She said she's getting frustrated because she's bored with him not being bored.
Like I say to the children, it's just boredom to me is a state of mind anyway. It is just you've got to do something in your mind to change it. It's not something outside of your control.
Exactly. And the other habit, you know, it's these as well. How many times do you see somebody? They can't just sit; they have to do that.
Yeah,
because they're
so when they're talking to you sometimes.
Well, when people are in pubs, I hate it when groups of people are in pubs. And there's people there like that. You're in a pub with a group of friends
like here
to have a chat.
If we was all sat on our phones out, I don't come back. I don't know it anymore.
There was a very interesting thing I read not long ago, and it was a restaurant. It had previously, it always had really good reviews, sparkling reviews. The service was impeccable, the food was great, and then over the course of the last few years, they dipped and gone down, and they'd noticed. I mean, TripAdvisor is the scourge of the hospitality industry, but you know, they'd noticed a number of negative comments that cropping up on TripAdvisor. So they thought, well, we'll investigate and we'll see what the difference is, and we'll do some studies and we'll see if we can work out what's going on. So they got the old CCTV footage from a few years ago when everything was great. And they were getting these fantastic reviews. They thought, well, that's what we can do. We can look at what was happening then, and we'll compare that with what's happening now. See what's different. As the service dips, is it, you know? And we'll look at it. So they did some timings, and they looked at how long it took people to be sat down and be brought a drink, and to be given the menu, and to be told what the specials were, and all this kind of stuff. How long it took for the food to come out, and for them to actually complete their meal, and all the elements that go along with people dining out. And they found that in terms of the timings, they were sat down in exactly the same amount of time. A waiter or a waitress came to them in exactly the same amount of time as they did before, and gave them the menu and took the drinks order. And all of that was happening exactly the same. But the average amount of time it took for them to actually complete their meal and to order their meal had become elongated. And when they actually looked at the CCTV footage and compared it, it's because they came in and sat down, and the first thing they did when they sat down is they pulled out their mobile phone, and they did this and they did that, and then they texted so-and-so to tell them where they were, and updated their Facebook, and the waitress comes over, and they're not really engaged with what the waitress is telling them because they're too busy on their phone. And so the waitress has to take more time to tell them what the specials are and to take their order and all the rest of it. And then, you know, the starters come out, and so they photograph the starter on their phone so they can post the picture up onto it. And they found that it was this.
Right.
It was purely the fact that the customers didn't engage with each other and didn't engage with the staff, that they then felt that their perception of the restaurant and the service and the quality of service that the restaurant was giving them had declined, but it had nothing to do with that.
My father markets his bistro as a Wi-Fi free zone.
Do you know what I was just
because
thinking?
it is not, because it's in a dip, it doesn't get good service
Right.
anyway, and he doesn't provide Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So he says Wi-Fi free zone. There
I was
is
just
no
thinking
Wi-Fi.
though, how many people come off holiday? That's really good. Oh, I couldn't get on Facebook. I had a really nice break. I haven't been on there. And you
But
just think, well,
you just
put it
just
down.
exactly.
Don't take it with me.
Exactly. But that was
We're not all high flying, need to be on the phone for
That's the other
That gets
thing.
customers come in that go, brilliant.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's the thing that came up in that study that the restaurant did.
But
You know,
that's really
people
nice that he's turned it and marketed it.
People turn up, and the first thing they want to do is connect to the Wi-Fi. What's the password, and why won't that work? And it's no, sit down, have a drink, have a look at
That's what you come here for. That's what that says. You come here for this bit.
It's like, 'cause in the old days, well, that would be like a form of relaxation as well. Whereas again, while you're on that, that's not relaxing. That could be stressful if you're reading work emails and stuff like that.
That's it.
Or looking at someone's mirror on Facebook. That's
Yeah.
really stressful.
Oh, my answers all the time. We've been here. Oh.
So when we see a picture of you at Mindfulness, we'll know why.
That's it. Hang on, just let me.
Yeah.
But these don't allow people to get bored
Yeah.
because there's the constant entertainment. You know, I could watch something, I could listen to music, play a game, check emails, all the rest of it.
But it's also confusing boredom, like you say, they don't allow you to get bored. I mean, having nothing to do is not boredom. Sometimes it's nice to have nothing to do.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
And it's good for children. It's healthy for children to actually, I don't like that word bored, but be bored. Because then they have to go and also amuse themselves, which a lot of children can't do today.
Yes.
Amuse
Without
themselves.
electronic something.
Yeah, or someone else entertain
That's
them.
it.
quiet as
Here's a
well.
pen and a piece of paper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
Here's
he
your
might
dolls,
think-
here's your Lego.
yeah.
Or there might be something on their mind, might be example, something on their mind, they might be upset. I don't know, my children all that. But if I'm sitting there quiet, sometimes other thoughts come into my mind, and I didn't realise I was upset, but I didn't go, where did that come from? It's because I had, say, 5 minutes to myself to realise what came on it.
Yeah, because I often work or do so many things, I don't have to stop and think.
Yeah, but when you do, things are there.
Exactly.
Except they're there.
And then you have to access it.
Exactly.
And that's when your mindfulness comes.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's do a little exercise, and then we'll go on to the next. I've got a practical for us this
It'll be
week.
a bit longer tonight.
No, we won't.
No, he's looking forward to his 8:30.
That's it. Eight Tesco's. I've got my list. Cat food, bread. So let's just sit and start by having a look around. When you've had a look around, close your eyes. Just become aware of the weight of your body sat in the seat. Your back pressed against the back of the chair. The weight of the effect of gravity pulling down on your shoulders. Gravity pulling down through your spine and pulling your bottom down into the seat. Aware of your feet in contact with the floor. Aware of the clothes on your skin, your legs, on your arms. Aware of the very faint movement of air. And take a breath through the nose and just be aware of smell. And then be aware of taste, the taste in your mouth at this moment. And then turn your awareness to your hearing and just listen. You can begin by becoming aware of the sound of your own breath. Gradually extend the field of your hearing wider and wider. If your mind wanders, that's absolutely fine. Just accept that it's wandered and just bring your awareness back to listening. So that was my other reason for picking boredom as a topic, was because for some, not for us, but for some, they may think that just sitting, listening, is quite boring. Meditating could be seen as being pretty boring, to just sit there.
So everybody's view of boredom is different, maybe.
Well, exactly. But I brought this book along. It's called Nothing Special, Living Zen. It's by a lady called Charlotte Joko Beck, who is a Zen Buddhist teacher in America. And she talks in one of the chapters about a story of Sisyphus, who was the king of Corinth in Greek mythology. Are you aware of the story of Sisyphus? No. Okay. But he was condemned by the gods to Hades, so he was sent to hell to be punished for all eternity. And his punishment was to endlessly roll an enormous heavy boulder up a hill. And when he reached the top, it would roll down again, and then he would have to start again and push the boulder back up the hill and roll it down again. And obviously, because it's a myth, it's a story, it has a teaching behind it. And she goes on to ask what the lesson is. What is it about that punishment, that story, that we can learn something from? And some of there's then quotes from her students answering the question. And then finally, Joko Beck says, she asks, what is it? If King Sisyphus can actually reach an enlightened state while he's pursuing this, what would seem to be fairly boring and fruitless task for all eternity, if he can reach an enlightened state, what might he finally realise? And one of her students says, well, just to be one with pushing the rock in the moment, in each moment. And she says, yes, just to push the rock and to have abandoned hope that his life will be other than it is. Most of us imagine that the enlightened state will feel much better than pushing a rock. Have you ever awakened in the morning and muttered, I don't even want to think about all the things I have to do today? But life is as it is. And our practice is not about having life feel good, even though that's a very human hope. We all like things that make us feel good. We especially like partners who make us feel good. If our partner doesn't make us feel good, we assume that things have to be changed, that he or she needs to change because we are human. We think that feeling good is the aim of life. But if we simply push our current boulder and practice being aware of what goes on with us as we push, we slowly transform. So that's what she says. In relation to that endless having to do something that we don't want to do. So I thought, I haven't brought any boulders. Last week we all sat in the dark. This week I'm going to make you do something boring. So I have.
So is that the same as acceptance? Is that what she's saying? Just accept.
You have to accept
the
present moment and what's happening in the present moment. And don't, the boulder story, you could become disillusioned, thinking, I have pushed this ruddy boulder up this mountain 1,000 times, and every time it rolls back down. And I will probably in the future push the boulder again another 1,000 times, and every time it will roll back down. And you could grow to be frustrated by that. However, if you're mindful and you're in the moment, you're only in that moment. You're pushing the boulder. All of those,
one step at a time.
all of those previous attempts are gone and irrelevant, and you let go of, and you just accept the fact that at this moment,
this is what
you're pushing
one
the boulder.
step.
You can test people. I know what you can say. You can push people.
Well, things
You
happen.
can.
I know.
I'd like to give you a saucer. The saucer.
I'm having a terrible time with acceptance.
Yes.
Same as me.
Well, there we go. So there's a.
But I did
I
it.
accept I have a saucer.
I'm afraid
There's a task.
I've got to do it.
There is a task that you have to do that's boring and mind-numbing.
You're counting. Why is going on?
Oops. Try not to. You can have some more. See, I bought loads because I thought there'd be loads of people here wanting to be bored. So you can all have lots and lots.
This is our dinner.
Uncooked rice and split yellow peas.
Thank you.
Now then.
Australia.
So our next exercise is to occupy ourselves. I'll do it as well, because that wouldn't be fair, would it? I'd like you to separate the split yellow peas from the
I
rice.
probably could find that quite therapeutic, knowing me.
And to just be mindful in the task. Be aware of your breath. Accept the present moment. There's not a race. There's no prize
You're not
for
going to
who
get home
finishes
to
first.
Tesco's tonight, you know that.
Yeah, it's not part of your shopping list, is it?
I just can't stop but think of Cinderella. Didn't she have to sort out the rice from the ash?
Quite possibly. So be aware of your breath. And be aware of how it feels.
This is a little video. Is everybody going to see us do this?
That's it. Again, it's another thrilling video for the YouTubers. That's what they say.
Do we have to give a running commentary so they don't get bored on YouTube?
No, we have to sit quietly
And breathe.
and breathe and be aware.
Is this because we slow down and just think about the rice and nothing else. This is part of it or not?
It could be.
I used to have piecework doing making Skeletrix track, and that was so repetitive, but I loved it. Just got in the rhythm of it after a while.
Yeah.
Just your mind just disappears off elsewhere.
See, I like colouring anything that fast, because your brain just turns off and you just sit there.
Jigsaws, I could sit and do jigsaws.
I find that frustrating.
Oh no.
Can't do that.
You just put each piece in place.
See, after today, you're just going to have big bowls full of rice and beans and just sit there.
So are you saying when I get home, I've got to get me split lentils and my rice, throw it on the floor and say to the kids, right, pick it up.
If you want to.
This has been mindful.
If you want to be really unpopular at home.
It's what they taught me to do at church.
What did you do today? Carry out your group?
Is anybody bored? My work here is done.
I used to restore antiquities in another lifetime, and I used to
It's
sit
really
and scrape the dirt from his eyes. It was lovely.
Karate kid who tries to teach him lessons like this. Wax on.
Wax on, wax off.
Wax on, wax
And I always remember the one with the nail when I'm banging nails into things.
Oh, yeah.
Hit it once and you hit it twice, didn't you? Just think through the nail.
You're not going to leave group tonight hard as nails and start picking fights with people.
No, it's relaxation.
Well, I think hitting things sometimes is relaxing, it's not.
That's why people do boxercise.
Just come to karate. I do karate. It's great. Hit the bag.
But martial arts are often very mindful.
They are.
They have mindful elements to them.
Yes.
And when we finish, actually, one of the Japanese words, mokso, it means to meditate. We only do it for about 30 seconds. Sometimes it's after school.
Okay.
This is too cool.
Hey, can we just sit here till we finish, please?
If you want to.
They give you the keys.
So anybody got any observations? Anybody learned something from the last 5 minutes
Kept me calm.
of picking peas?
It's kept me
I
calm.
can say it's kind of kept me calm because I'm just sat here minding my business, not stressing, just focusing what I'm doing.
5 minutes for yourself.
I suppose that's it, really. It's focusing, isn't it?
So there we go. So we are engaged in a task which is relatively pointless.
But very
Fairly.
bonded. Earthing, as in this would have been something we would have done in Neanderthal times, picking out the seeds from the
There is
So
that.
perhaps it connects back.
Yeah, I bet they went in the car every afternoon, taking their kids here, there and everywhere. I should have been born then.
Yeah, I think
That's
so.
it.
I'd have survived better then.
So my hope is that the lesson we learn from this little exercise is that if we can enjoy and be mindful whilst undertaking something which is, to all intents and purposes, pointless and has no,
So
I'm not going to pay you.
The dishes last week when you were doing the dishes, Don't think I'm doing the dishes.
That's it. Or you're not concerned with the end
result.
results.
Yeah, that's right. Whether they get clean. That's right.
Now, as you're sitting there picking them out, who's thinking, about the end result and about seeing the separated class pieces? We're not. We're just engaged in the task as it happens, moment by moment, split P by split P.
Yeah. So I guess like what you're saying is when we're driving them in the car, instead of thinking of it in one way, just think kind of like this.
This is.
I don't think I'm going to the shops, or I'm going to.
Well, just this is my present moment.
I enjoy driving. I like just driving.
Or what's the housework that you particularly loathe? Ironing.
Oh,
Is that one? I don't
Only if I'm really healthy.
Yeah, well, that's what good quality folding is for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fold it properly.
Everyone else.
Yeah, I think mine's actually hoovering.
I find that quite.
I have to do it, but I just find it. I don't find it. I just feel like my time is not mine when I'm hoovering. It feels like
you're doing it for other people.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind doing things for other people, and I don't mind doing things for the family. But hoovering, it just feels. I just don't enjoy it. I don't know. I don't know.
Do you think that you could bring some of the current state and awareness that you feel now to your hoovering?
Yes, but I'd probably work on a patch and I wouldn't get very far.
Right, well, that's your challenge.
That would be nice, yeah.
That's your challenge, Julie, to
What's your challenge for this
bring
week?
to your hoovering this approach that you're not hoovering to clean the carpet and pick up the fluff. You're not hoovering for anybody else. You're just hoovering because at that moment in time, hoovering is what
you are doing. Yeah, just doing.
Okay.
Do the job that's in front.
Any other in our newfound format of sharing and discussion? Got any?
Homework, but with homework comes a lot of other things like patience and
patience.
When my daughter has homework,
yes,
the amount
I'd
of
rather
patience.
run with my tail between my legs as fast as I can.
All she really wants me to do is do the homework for her.
Okay, you can stop now if you like.
Or
you can have some more. If you want some more,
easier than homework, see? That's why I like this, because this is easier than homework. If homework was this easy,
so that's your challenge, is to make homework this easy. For you, because it's not your homework.
Or go and have a word with the teachers and say, stop it. Or at least advance warn me, so I can gen up on it.
Get yourself a big bowl of rice and peas, and when the kids are doing their homework,
do this.
You do that.
That's a good idea, isn't it?
I end up throwing them at the kids.
At least it won't hurt.
Yeah.
Kids start doing it.
Luke will probably go do that, Mum.
Yeah.
I'll do the homework, you do the hoovering.
When I had a job when I was younger. I worked behind the bar in a pub, and there was a lad that worked there. Bless him. I did feel a little bit sorry for him. He had his going back to talking about hospitality industry and customer service skills. His customer service skills weren't the best. And we had to wear a pink stripy shirt and a lavender bow tie. And he would be there in his stripy shirt and his lavender bow tie with his sleeves rolled up with a panther on that arm and an eagle on that arm.
Oh dear.
And he would tell me about his life. And when he was at school, the headmaster came up with this fantastic theory or opportunity. And he would say to the pupils, if you don't want to like the lessons and you don't want to take part in the lessons, then you can paint the fence. Now, this colleague of mine, I think, spent 5 years painting the fence.
Wow.
Pretty much.
Whereas I guess it's supposed to teach them a lesson that actually this is boring.
Yeah.
Whereas he never.
Whereas he was like, I'd rather paint the fence. So there we go.
Could be a skilled painter now, yeah.
I don't think he was.
Yeah, I feel like I've got to see guilds at the end of it.
He's probably serving a 5 stretch.
Slowly post-facts.
Okay. So the point is, the other lesson to this is, if we are mindful, and this ties in with what you said, Julie, right at the very beginning, about boredom being a state of mind. If we are mindful, truly mindful, then there is no such thing as boredom. We can't possibly be bored. If we are truly in the present moment, and it's that thing that John Kabat-Zinn talks about, the beginner's mind, every moment is new, every moment is fresh. You know, we haven't experienced this moment before, or this moment, or this moment. Then every moment is new, and so you can't possibly, there's no room to be bored. So, yeah, the ultimate...
It's so simple, but it is so hard.
Yeah, I totally agree.
It's so simple.
So hard.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, it was
frustrating,
like what I emailed you about, because it is simple, and what you then said makes sense. But what I said was, I find it hard to put in place, because, like, appreciating boredom, but if something's going bad, how do you then go, oh, I'm in the moment now?
Because you're accepting what's going bad.
That's what James said.
Yeah, and actually, it's the thing that you said to me, really, the first time we came was reaction and response, which is I keep going back to when I'm in the moment of losing it.
Losing your cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I had to do it. My eldest, she was close to meltdown before school the other day because she couldn't find a particular hairband.
That was the most important thing.
And it was like, we've got to go now, or we're going to be late. And you're having complete histrionics about your hair and a hairband.
That's girls.
Well, I know, and how to do the hair. And I actually put it in a ponytail. And I did it really good. For a man, for a dad, it was a good ponytail. You know, there wasn't all lumpy bits. It was good. I was quite proud of it. And I pulled it out. And I must admit, I did lose it. I did shout.
Yeah, well, we're all,
And I actually, I'd been mindful as long as I could.
Yeah,
I'd been patient. I'd been really patient. And then it just got to a point. And I think it was more of a response than a reaction. I think I just thought, I'm going to shout now, because that will probably do the job.
And it did.
You need to get the car down.
It did. And so there was one shout, and that did the job. And we had a lot of on the way to the car, but we did get to school and we did get there. It was fine.
So it was all right.
Well, it's head company, you can't really turn up late.
Well, I can.
Children.
Yeah, but it's not
The children.
It's not like I have a day job there, though it feels like it sometimes. Okay. Let's breathe now.
Shall we tip that in there?
If you want to. I know, I'm going to keep it like that because you've done such a beautiful... Oh, you've done a little face on yours.
Other way.
You just going to judge.
Oh, is it that way? It's like an owl.
Yeah.
Very good. Very creative. So there you go. That's all you need
I'm
from
going to move
now
on now.
Forget the mindfulness. Just have a plain bowl of rice and peas. My gift to you all, rice and peas. Just say that in the head. Next time it's all going wrong. Rice and peas.
Rice and peas.
Rice and peas. And just visualise
That might calm
sorting.
me down then.
Just visualise sorting rice and peas.
I'm already in enough
breathing.
trouble for smiling if I start laughing.
Imagine you're standing in a shop or something, you're stressing, you go,
Oh, must please, yeah. When
Children shouting.
people will be going, oh my God.
Nothing coming in Tesco's shares.
If it works.
If it works. I can just picture me doing that. Like that mum that lies down and throws
I started
tantrums on those adverts.
tomorrow now.
I've never seen that before. I was dreamt of doing that. Laying in Tesco's.
Just
There
like
used to be an advert where the mum threw the tantrum.
Yes.
Do you remember that? And I
Yes.
used to dream of doing that. I used to want to lie in Tesco's one
But
time, do a
You should
tantrum
do it.
in front of my kids. Well, that must be. They weren't huge tantrums.
Go in the shop, we don't never go again or something.
Get drive to Dover. Just so that you can have
I thought that just looks quite fun.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah. No, I like the
Not
sound
just
of it.
maybe I have lost it already. Well, yeah. Yeah.
Right. I'm going to invite the bowl to sound. That's what we say
Oh, yeah.
now.
Oh.
We invite
Yes,
the
I
bowl
was
to
telling
sound.
somebody about that,
We
inviting.
don't hit it, because that would be disrespectful. We invite the bowl to
Are we
sound.
allowed to do the thing when Mel's not here? Because I quite like it.
I did squeak the bowl last week.
Oh, did you?
So I'll squeak,
Yes,
I'll squeak
you
it
did
for you
squeak.
tonight.
Yeah, because Mel's
I've got
not
to
here.
stand in the corner and
Does
squeak
Mel
it, so it's not so
No.
intense.
It's
Do
Mel
you have
that
to
doesn't
stand
like it,
in the
isn't it?
corner for
Oh,
it
somebody
to
doesn't like it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Or is that just
No,
you
it's just
standing
if
there?
I squeak it too close, your feelings will start rattling.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
So I might walk down there and squeak it. Anyway,
In the corner with your eyes and things.
so turn the awareness to the breath, following each individual breath as it happens, in and out. And if your mind wanders, allow the sound of the bowl to bring your awareness back to the breath. Just follow, for the next few moments, the three elements to your breath. Breathing in, breathing out, and then the pause between breaths. As you breathe in, just smile at the awareness of being alive. Smile at life. Just allow yourself to connect with that smile. Smile doesn't happen at the corner of the mouth. The smile happens within you. And as you breathe and are aware of your breath, just connect with that smile inside of your being. When you're ready, you may open your eyes. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
What's different tonight? Is it always going to be low?
I don't know. I don't know. At this moment, this is how it is.
I
don't know.
You've got a whole week to think about this.
Well, exactly.
But no, we're going to sit at the front, don't we?
I
You don't
don't
know.
know. Depends. We'll see.
I don't get any homework done if I sit at the front.
I know. I'm sorry about that.
No, I needed to focus.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we all need to focus. That's what I mean. I don't know about everybody else, but
But that's all it is. All that guff, that stuff is just rice and peas.
Rice and peas. Somebody getting annoyed
I'm
by
going to
rice
write
and
that
peas.
on my blackboard when I get home.
The other half's annoyed me for rice and peas.
Be a nice reminder in the kitchen, wouldn't it?